everybody, and welcome along to VSL F1 Season 9. We are back after our break. It's amazing, and it's the first race on the F1 22 game. And what a better way to start it with some pre-season races, with the first one being at Mexico City for the Mexican Grand Prix. We have two tiers this season. We have new drivers, but what hasn't changed is who's in the commentary box for the top tier. My name is Jesspaul, and joining me for another season, I brought him back. It's Mr. Evil Dragon. How you doing?
Everyone, and welcome to a game which is, well, it doesn't like me. We'll put it that way. It hasn't imploded. Well, it did, but we're going to talk about the near implosion. Yes, welcome to VSL. Welcome to Mexico City. Welcome to La Madrid Rodriguez something. It's a long name. I always forget it. It's the sort of track that we've all seen for many years. It's the Mexican Grand Prix. It's in Mexico City. It is very high in the altitude, and it's nice and sunny, which is the key thing, because if it's wet around Mexico, it normally ends well. Though actually I haven't seen a wet race in this game, so I hope it does rain. But pre-season, we have got 20 drivers, and of all 20 of them, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of them, which I know.
Yes, and I did say we would have some new drivers, and basically these pre-season races is to help the admin team get a gauge as to what the drivers are pace-wise, because it's a brand new game, brand new handling model. So if you're faster on last year's game, F1 2021, you may not be fast in F1 22, so just give you an idea. And also, we get to see how the new drivers do, because obviously the admins don't have a clue on what the new drivers can do unless they've seen them in other leagues, of course. So before we go into the qualifying, let's talk about these new drivers. We've got Hyperdarts Shadow in the Ferrari, Fraser McKay2 in the Alpine, we've got Finley in the AlphaTauri, and I believe those are the only new drivers that we have. The rest of them we are very, very familiar with. Obviously, Jinx was one of our reserves last season, and everyone else was pretty much full-time. And we've got last season's champion as well, Casper, in the lobby as well. So a very good benchmark for everyone else to follow for this year's champion. Well, last season's champion. But, Liam, the thing is, Casper has gone fully no assists this season, so don't expect him to be quick right off the bat, but you never know, he could surprise us in the Red Bull tonight.
Yes, now last time I spoke to Casper and raced with him, he had a big accident right in front of me. It was very interesting to watch Casper have accident. He, of course, driving the Red Bull. Talking of accidents, immediately I see an accident. Someone spun it. Is it Kieran? Kieran! Thank you very much. You're my first victim of the afternoon by seeing accident. Immediately someone has an off. You love to see it. Saying that, now there's more yellow flags. I've been actually backing up in Sector 3 currently, but one little kerfuffle always ends up to be two, and these cars are going to be very interesting. Now, I like these cars. They seem to work normally with me. I can chuck it into a corner without immediately dying. I spoke to some, and they don't know how I can drive, and apparently they don't know how to start like I can, which is interesting, because I just do what I normally do and just drop the revs, and it seems to work. Others can't do that, but they'll figure it out. These guys are all much better than I am. That's why I'm stuck here in the commentary box. But as I say, that more yellow flags in Sector 1. Is that another car getting out of the way? I think yes, actually it was Casper who drops it in turn number 1 and 2. So he's having a bit of a struggle. So I try to see who is nearest to the end of their lap, respectively. We might be... Is it... No, no idea. It's an Aston Martin, I think.
Yeah, it might. No, it's not Matter. It is Hayden. Hayden, who's shown some pretty impressive performances last season and the season before as well. And it is known that the cars could follow quite closer compared to the last game. But for some people I've talked to, they find it a bit more difficult. Hayden is the first person to set a lap time with a 1 minute 17.890. Then we got Matt Ryan in P2. No, scrap that. We got Deck in P2 with a 1:17.9. Let's see who else is on a lap. We've got Yarham, who I'm used to seeing in a Haas, but he's not. He's in the Alfa Romeo. No, please do bear in mind, teammates have not been finalised yet, because obviously we don't know what tiers people are going to be in. So basically, if it was just first come, first serve, you pick your team, and if that team's free, you can pick it, and if it's not, then he got to go with what's left. We got Iceman who just came across the line, P1, and talking of new drivers, we got Finley, he's come across the line in P2, a pretty good lap from him for the newbie.
Yep, 11,000 ahead of Mr. Cam then, who is a lovely person, by the way, who has got very well at Turn 1. The game's not validated, but I think he's backed off his lap time anyway. But Iceman, he is the man who is the talk of the town recently. He's been in the top 100, he's been in the top 50 in quite a lot of leaderboards I saw. As Kieran, never mind, he goes even quicker. A 1:17.69, which is very nice indeed. So, there we go. And Flexi goes even quicker, while the man who said he had no pace in this car, he said he was washed, and now he's P1. There he is. Sandbagging Flexi there. There we go. Right there is Slender. Goes up to P4. So the Mercedes coming alive together. We've got Cam on a laptop. We've got, looking through the field, we've got Aiden in the pit lane, Deck in the pit lane, Kev's in 10th, Matt Ryan in 11th, Tony. We've got Casper through the last corner, but has invalidated and is coming in to the pit lane. Yuri is starting his lap time. We've got Fraser McKay, and then we've got Jinx and the rest of the gaggle all the way down at the back. We've got Yaham on a outlap as well, but I'm going right on board with Mr. Yuri as he comes from the exit of turn 1, 2 and 3 into the second DRS zone, or the first on this lap, I suppose, as well. Not counting the fact you get the DRS down the main straight, which is at the start line anyway, as you come through into this Mickey Mouse section. And talking of the Mickey Mouse section, lose the rear end to prove my point of how difficult this Mickey Mouse section is. This circuit, by the way, not changed really much since Inton back in the 1960s. It has been slightly turned, of course, and the only thing really different is this circuit isn't correct to the real circuit, because this corner is actually a little bit wrong. That one we go through right there. It's actually, I believe, a lot quicker in real life. But Yuri is going to finish his lap off, and this is the new section built in 2015, of course, when it came back. This is the infamous stick, which is an absolutely impressive monument. I do miss the old corner, though, because it is flat out nearly right-hander. You take it about 180 miles an hour. But Yuri goes P14 after that small mistake. Just ahead of his teammate Casper. Lots of kerfuffle.
Yes, so we are seeing the Red Bulls 14th and 15th, and we saw last season the Red Bulls not doing particularly well, same with the AlphaTauris, and I know the people that want to be in the Red Bull this season will definitely want to change that. We had Ferrari that won the Constructors last season. They're currently in P7 and P12. The people who were in the Ferraris last season, Flexi, he's currently fastest with Casper in P15. Anyone else on laps at the moment? We've got Yarham in P19 as he heads towards turn number 4. Purple in sector 1. Now, usually in the previous F1 games, purple sector 1 means nothing for a lot of the drivers because sometimes it glitches. Hopefully, they fix that, but we will see as we head towards one of the parts of the circuit, which I find quite tricky when I've done some races here on the F1 22 game, but obviously they approach it much slower speeds compared to previous F1 cars, so it is obviously harder to invalidate, even though you can invalidate a lot around here. Expect a lot of track limit penalties like we saw in the real life Austrian Grand Prix, and it was a bit questionable in real life, to be honest. We thought we won on the F1 games for the moment there, as we are seeing Yarham up to the line, and he goes fastest with a 1:16.736. We've got more people on laps. We've got Yarham's teammate Jinx on a lap right now. We've got Hayden and Deck starting their laps as well, and we've only got 2 drivers in the 1:16s, but only 100 separates between the 2 of them. Very impressive from Yarham, and Yarham got quite a few wins and podiums last season as well. Did get a penalty for one race as far as I remember, but he joined midway through the season. Now he's got a full season to contend with. If he ends up on the tier that we're going to be commentating in, which is tier 1, do you think he could challenge throughout the season, maybe to like the likes of Casper, Flexi, Iceman and all that lot?
Well, it's all about the consistency, Jess. I mean, he does have the pace, but sometimes he made small mistakes here and there. It cost him. Oh, my goodness me, a McLaren there. I don't know who that was. That,
Tony?
Deck, I presume, because Tony's in the pit lane, but
yes,
almost wiping Casper off the map right there. And that, a little bit naughty, and I think Casper might have a new pair of underpants. Meanwhile, Iceman, he is on a mission. So far, 116.3. The man who's so quick. What can Casper do? As he comes up to the line and he goes up to P4. Had another couple of attempts in that, so that could easily change to P2. Had he not, of course, met Deck, who was perpendicular in the middle of the circuit, but gets away with it so far as we look down through the rest of the field. And well, Mr. Yuri has gone for a little spin at the last corner, and he's hit the wall. And is not going into the pit lane. What, he could have came in there, Yuri. I'm surprised he didn't come in there. You hit the wall and he's... No, you're supposed to carry on. He didn't want to come in right there. As well as we now look to see, we've got Mr. Shadow.
Invalidated.
On a lap, but is invalidated. We've got Kev, who's across the line to start his lap time as well, Jess. And the Ferrari driver, both new of top, currently P9 and 14 respectively. That's not too bad as well. A very close field, to be fair, as well. The top 10 separated by 1.2 seconds, which is extremely good. If you discount Iceman, because he's half a second quicker than everyone else, then the top 10 is then separated by easily 1 second again, nearly. So there we go.
There, and obviously since it's a new game, expect the times to be probably a lot closer than usual for some of the drivers, but obviously they won't be at the pace straight away. But if we don't know a driver, obviously they need to show the pace right from the get-go, because I know a few people will be sandbagging. I don't want sandbaggers in this lobby, because they could be put in a tier which is not representative of their pace, and then they could be bumped up straight away. And talking of the tier system as well, we've got 2 tiers this season. We've got tier 2 commentated by the lovely Moore, which will be on the same time at 8 PM UK time. He may be commentating with me next week, so he gets a little bit of familiarity to VSL before he starts for real at the beginning of August. But one thing to mention about the tier system is the regulation system. The bottom drivers in Tier 1 will be demoted next season, and the top tier drivers from Tier 2 will be promoted next season as well. So it's not like, oh, if I do rubbish in Tier 1, I can stand a good chance for Tier 1 again next season. No, if you do rubbish in Tier 1, you'll be demoted.
Oh, what Yuri meanwhile, Jess, at this rate, he's probably looking at a relegation zone, and he's probably hoping that he can get himself up to grips, because so far he's not got a lap together. He's really struggling, but he has got a lap together, but it's not been a very good lap time. He's currently down in 17th. He's just got no confidence.
And he's spun again.
He spun it. There we go. He's got no confidence. He's gone and dropped it again. We've got another car who's dropped us up the road, I believe. I think that's actually a Ferrari getting out of the way, potentially. Up the road ever so slightly as Mr. Yuri. He's cooked his tyres, so what's going to happen now? He's going to be nice and gentle, and he's going to spin. That's what he's going to do.
Oh,
and,
bless him.
Yuri, bless the man. God, get the power down nice and gently. There you go. Right hand down. And now what you want to do is not spin next corner. So what you're going to do is take it nice and gently through
Fraser's
here.
just spun. Saying that, Fraser spun on cue when you said that there.
It's all going the master plan right now. Oh, God. And he's in the wall. Oh, dear. You're right. Come on. Get the power on. Get it nice and gently. You want to cool the tyres down. Nice and cool. Blow some nice cool air. It's a warm, sunny day here in England. It might be warm and sunny wherever you are in the world as well, but
not as hot as yesterday.
Yes, it's cool. It's not going to be as hot. It's going to be on Monday next week, which is going to be 31 degrees, apparently, as the forecast is saying. But it looks like Yuri's got his tyres down.
Up to the line. Yarham is in P1 with a 116.3. So you said earlier, Liam, that no one could beat Iceman. Well, someone says, well, no, Liam, I can beat Iceman, and he's in P1 at the moment. Anyone else on laps? We've got Fraser McKay, who hasn't set a lap time yet, who hasn't invalidated, and, well, he's going to set a lap time, but it's not going to be representative pace of 131.0, so we'll expect him to go quicker. Jinx is about to start his next run as well. A lot of people are in the pits right now on outlaps. Casper, who we know goes on multiple soft lap runs, who is not on a lap at the moment in the Red Bull as well. And don't forget, these cars are set to equal performance as well. And the drivers have also got to contend with loads of new features in the race in terms of pit stops, formation laps. Safety car pretty much remains unchanged because there is 2 options for that, but we decided to keep it the same as last season because obviously we don't want to change it. And the safety car, well, does bring a bit of drama, a bit of action, but I can't remember if safety car is on today, but I don't have a clue, to be honest, but obviously we'll have to wait and see. Hayden comes towards turn number 4, and Sergio Perez did very well at his home Grand Prix last season with a podium. Obviously Lewis Hamilton won the championship at Mexico, even though he finished quite low as well quite a few times. 54% of the lap can be spent at full throttle, and 300,000 people can be expected over Grand Prix weekend. I think we had more people in Mexico for the Grand Prix last year than any other year, which I have to say was quite amazing. And that was where Michael Schumacher took his first F1 podium. Final corner, named in honour of Nigel Mansell in 2015, I believe, which was quite good as well. As Flexi almost into the 115s, Liam, 1 minute 16.073. Well, if this man wants to help start his title statement, well, he's doing it tonight, even though the points don't count tonight.
Yeah, Flexi, he's gone very good, of course. The final corner named after Mansell, of course. He did that famous overtake back around the outside, I think it was outside of Patrese back when he was driving in the Ferrari in 1990, I believe it was. And of course, you all know the light. So brilliant. Right, of course we can't see that around the outside because there's this Mickey Mouse section. But if you want to from the rear, you get to go around the outside. Now, unfortunately, you can't see the nice camera shot around there because, well, there's barrier and lots of things around here. Unfortunately, of course. Luckily, this circuit's still in existence. It was going to be demolished originally back in the early 2000s. It was, in fact, in pretty dire situation, of course, but luckily is back to looking good so far. The top guys all starting their last flying laps with 1 minute 40 on the clock. So these are everyone's last attempts. Casper not going for another run. He has retired in the pit lane. So let's see. We've got Kieran. He's in 10th position. He's hoping for a good result. We've got Leighton Knighton, Iceman, Yarham as well. Flexi in the pit lane. That is his qualifying done and doesn't. So he is going to be gambling on that lap to be good enough.
Yes, well, to be honest, sometimes
Knighton in the wall.
Knighton in the wall, so he won't be improving on his lap time at the moment. We got Flexi's teammate, Slenderman, on his out lap. Well, he's invalidated. Luckily, he's invalidated his out lap, not his flying lap. So, in saying that, he might do the same on his flying. But fingers crossed, he does not. Tony is about to start his flyer. I believe Pete will be making his way back into the pit lane very soon. He's going to start sector 2 anyway, just to see what it would have been. Obviously, it's not going to improve on his lap time. Dark Shadow, where is he at the moment? In P9 at the moment. He's coming to cross the line. He's about 3 tenths up. This is looking pretty good. It does look good. It is P4. Not too shabby. The highest of our rookies so far. Finley, who was looking quite good at the start of qualifying, only down in B7, but still a top 10 start against the drivers who have been at VSL for absolutely ages is pretty decent indeed. Fraser McKay, well, he is going quicker than his previous best. Well, it's not really representative, to be honest, but he's down in 19th at the moment. Let's see if he can get higher. We got Iceman, who is starting sector 1. His teammate is in P11, but he does have time to go for final run. Tony, let's see where Tony is. I'm used to Tony being in an Alpine, and he's in a McLaren today, so that's weird. But anyway, he can't improve. He has invalidated his run. Iceman, he's going to go up to the line soon. And, well, he's not going to go up to the line soon because he has invalidated. Tut. Slenderman up to the line. He goes P4. Decent lap time from him. So, is it going to be Fraser or is it going to be his teammate? It's going to be Fraser. Up to the line. A lot better from him, but still a few tenths off the pace compared to the likes of Det in 18th position. Tony who did really well in the finale last season, took the last win of the season in Canada. Obviously, he's a Canada merchant. I think that's the first thing he did on the new game, was go on Canada, which is not really that surprising. What can he do? Well, he set no lap time, so he's going to be doing a last to first challenge around here, and we'll see if we can make that work. Finley can only manage P8. Pete can only manage P7. So we're just waiting for Matter to cross the line as he's had a little bit of a spin there through the stadium section. What can Johan do? He is invalidated. So that is it then for Quali, and Flexi retiring early on in the session has paid off. No one can beat him. 3/10 quicker than the rest of the field.
Yeah, that's all good then. So it looks like there is no damage, we believe. But Flexi on pole position from Yarham and Iceman. And then comes Slender Man, then comes Matter Man, then comes Dark Shadow Man. Then we've got the Night Man ahead of Mr. Liverpool in 8th position. Casper is in 9th, and the rest of the field will come up in a moment with Kieran in 10th. And I believe that it was the Red Bull of Mr. Yuri who did manage to get himself into 11th in the end. Yes, he did. Jinx in 12th, from Cam in 13th, Kevin 14th, then from Tony in 15th, Matt Ryan ahead of Aiden, then comes Deck, then comes Fraser and Tony at the back.
There we go. So those are your 20 cars that will be racing, and yes, there is no damage for today's race, which is great to see, and I believe there will be no damage next week either. I'm trying to remember actually what the next pre-season race is next week. I believe that is Spain, which will be visiting the new layout. And obviously, we'll talk more about that next week. But talking of calendars, I think we should go through the calendar whilst we have that 2-minute interlude, because usually at this point, we go through the standings. But obviously, since it's pre-season and the season hasn't started yet, we have no standings. So, well, we've got obviously this week and next week the pre-season races. And then on the 3rd of August, that is when the season begins. So we've got Australia to kick off the season. Then we got Bahrain for round 2. Well, I think we had Australia kick off last season, but Liam wasn't there last season because obviously I didn't bring him in until round 2 of the season. So he'll get to experience Australia for the first time at VSL, obviously at the brand new layout, of course. And, oh, someone's readied up. Naughty, naughty. I think they'll probably be let off anyway. Miami, we've got a sprint race for round number 3. Also, Silverstone in Brazil will be the sprint weekend format, which I will go through a little bit more about later on. Then we got Canada round 4, France round 5, Austria round 6, Britain round 7, obviously about the sprint, Monaco round 8, Belgium round 9, Singapore round 10, Japan round 11. It was meant to be Portugal, but I don't think Portugal's going to be on the game unless they bring it as a DLC track. But it probably will be replaced by something else. Then it'll be Imola, Netherlands, another sprint race at Brazil, and then rounding it off in Abu Dhabi. And remember, in Season 7, Abu Dhabi was quite a spectacular as well. I had Risky join me in the commentary box, and that was a lot of fun. But it is nice to tweak the format a little bit with sprint races finally coming to the F1 game. I haven't actually tried the sprint races on the F1 game yet, but it definitely spices things up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's going to spice things up. It's all about points. I've done it before in other leagues. Seeing it as well, it is quite a fun feature to do. It can really make intriguing strategies, but we'll see what they can do when we get there in due course once the season starts in a couple of weeks' time. But it's Flexi. He's currently on P1. Yarham alongside him on the front row of the grid. Then comes Iceman and Slenderman, the top 5 pretty much as they were last season. And Matt hoping Brown, which he lost so well, demotivatedly lost last season because he didn't have a chance to get a single finger on the trophy because his hand was chopped off. Shadow down in 6th, Knighton, Liverpool. Then comes Casper. He's going to be learning it as well. We've got like Kieran, who has just spun as I go and see his name. Then comes Yuri, and then comes Jinx, Cam as well. And then we've got the rest of the field of Kevin, Tony, Matt Ryan, Aiden, of course, won the title nearly last season, but was beaten at the last hurdle.
That was Timo, who...
Timo, Aiden. I always got those two mixed up. Never mind. Deck in 18th, Fraser in 19th, Tony ringing up the grid in P20. In terms of what the strategy is for all these drivers,
free tire choice.
One driver on a set of soft tyres. Everyone else on mediums and hards. Top 3 on the mediums, 4th and 5th on the hards. Then we've got Iceman, who is been disqualified as
yes, that is a thing on the game. Before we quickly, it is immersive, so they have to drive the whole formation lap yourself, and if you mess up your formation lap and don't get into your right grid space, you will get disqualified. So we're seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drivers get disqualified. The drivers also get free tyre choice as well, which is why we're seeing multiple strategies. And Liam, take it away.
Right, here we go then. 2, 3, 4. Look, but never stare, because here in VSL, for the first time, it's lights out and away we go. And looks like Flexi gets a very good start then. This time around, then comes Johan. Slenderman slots himself up to third, and he's going for second. Then we could get almost 3 abreast. And let's see as they go. They in towards turn 1. It's Flexi and Johan side by side. They hit the brakes then. Down into turn 1, but up the inside there comes Slenderman. A little bit of kerfuffle in the background as 1-2 cars go a little bit late on the brakes there. Smoke pouring up there. It's like Dex gone down the order ever so slightly, but it's now a Mercedes 1-2 then. Slenderman there already trying to potentially challenge his teammates to come down into 4. But it's Jam in 3rd. Then up the inside we've got Knight and Iceman and Cam battling together as well. As you can see the Williams there battling with the Alpine and the Aston Martin. Holding up there you can see Finley and Casper going side by side on the exit. Oh, but they're double right. And as you now come to the quick left, rise up the inside there goes the Aston Martin and into the side. Oh, but I believe that was Finley going round. Is Mr. Matter, and as per usual Matter, he's used to going around, and yet again it's gone wrong for him, but it is Flexi leading from Slender. Then comes Johan, and then like we said comes Dark Shadow having a storming start for him then as well. Bit of a gap already between 6th, 7th there. You can start to see the gap already starting to form as Finley there got the Butler cars as round goes Yuri, I believe that was, or was that someone else going round?
That was Yuri.
It was Tony, also going around the outside of Yuri. But so far, Jess, apart from Mr. Matter, who is usually going backwards and round in circles, as Yaham gets past Mr. Slenderman, so far so good.
Yes, Yaham doing a great job getting back into P2 as well, as Cam spun on those soft tyres. A man who wanted to get past a lot of cars right away, being on the softest compounded tyres. Wow. You don't want to be doing that, my friend, because if you go into a spin on the F122 game, it takes a long time for your tyres to cool down, as I found when I was doing my team, Korea, with Jake on Sunday night in the horrible heat. It was an absolute nightmare. It was around Bahrain, believe it or not. It's Cam and Tony going side by side, and as Cam holds his line into P11 then, as he's able to keep line astern at the moment. Expect most of the drivers to do either medium to hard or hard to medium, as Fraser's got past Det. And
look at this.
Oh, we got the battle going on.
Matter, come on, Matt. Here comes Matter. He's taking 3 and 1. There we go. That's what you love to see. Starts around the outside, out the inside goes Akon. Fraser has to take a boarding action. Here comes the Ferrari to try and take that again, and he can't quite do it around the outside there. Fraser gets a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits as Kev down the back. He has had a terrible start by the looks of it. We'll have a look how they all look up, if I can figure out where the order is for who is doing what in the order. Is it there? There it is. It's Matter down 12. Kev has dropped down 6th position. A real game ends up this 8. Tony up 8 as well. Real loser, like I said. Is we got a flag, and that is for Cam, who's dropped it again in turn 1, having no luck on those tyres, and he's probably hit the curb, and that's why he's done it. Tyres are overheated, and the Alpines now down in 20th and 18th respectively. As you can see, meanwhile, Iceman passing Knighton, so the two speeds are speeding off past each other. And now let's see if Speed Iceman can be as cool as ice. And is he going to be ready to sacrifice Mr. Shadow, who's currently in 4th position? Let's find out in a few moments' time. But up front, that tends the gap between Flexi and Mr. Yaham.
Yes, indeed. The top 2 on the medium compounded tyre, Slenderman on the hards, so expect the hards to come into effect really around about lap 12, 13, probably potentially will be the crossover point. Soft curly last 11 laps, so Cam will be going into the pits earlier on. As Iceman is round! Iceman is round! Final corner, and we did say that Iceman was trying to get past Dark Shadow, and he's had a bit of a mess. What is going on with him? He was doing so well, and now he's got to try and cool down his tyres. He's down in 13th position. Luckily, he's not a long way down the field. And Jinx as well, going side by side into turn number 1. He's got DRS as well, trying to get the switch back needed, which he just not. Jinx on the hard compound tyres, so expect Iceman to have a little bit more grip. We've got a DRS train, I think, ranging from Yuri all the way down to Jinx. Meanwhile, Tony and Finley going side by side to turn number 4. They make a little bit of contact there, which is not going good as they head towards 5, 6, and 7. As this is getting very tense. This is incredible, I know, as Tony's going to try and go around the outside into a corner that you don't necessarily like to overtake. We saw a spin, and that is Kieran. Unfortunately, that's gone into a spin, but Tony, fair play to him in the Williams, doing very, very well. Iceman is going to try and see, he's got past Jim. Is he going to get past Tony then? Tony's got a penalty, the one in McLaren. There are 2 Tonys in this lobby, by the way. Going down to the stadium section, right-hand curve for good measure. As they're going to keep going side by side then as well. Tony holds his line. Iceman has got to find some creative ways as we got another spinner. Luckily, damage is off. Otherwise, Yuri would have been out of the race by now, I believe. And because I'm almost certain there would have been damage if that was the case. So, Iceman, DRS. It is kind of OP with DRS and ERS on this game, as I found out when I've been playing on this game. Unless we see what Iceman can do. To the left-hand side he goes into turn number 1. And does he keep his position and get P10? Yes, he does. Brilliant job from Iceman there. So he's now going to be on the recovery train to try and get back similar to where he was before. Up front then, Flexi and Johan still being P1 and P2 at the moment. Johan just not getting close enough to Flexi, as Kieran has got past his teammate, and Pete has got a penalty. There's quite a lot of things going on,
Alpines
Liam.
come together as the Hasses come together. I was about to say the Hasses hit each other. The Alpines, meanwhile, they've imploded. They have hit each other the exact same way as we've got a car off, and that there, it must be Knighton who's dropped it. It is Knighton who's off the road, and, well, the Speed Brothers back together again. Then Knighton and Iceman side by side, and again, Iceman back ahead of Knighton. But as we said, there is that Yuri's gone off into the waters. Up the inside goes the McLaren. They're battling away. That's going to be contact. And having to skip over the curbs there. Jinx. All these drivers struggling ever so slowly. Yuri, who's cooked his tyres very much as meanwhile, there is Flexi and Yoham going at it in turn number 1 and 2. And Yoham now takes the lead then here in Mexico City. And that is exactly what he needs to do. Now he'll open DRS. He'll burn his DRS. But look at much Flexi has not got. Well, he hasn't used much of his ERS. Remember, ERS management, Jess, around this game, it's going to be so critical when we come to league racing because it runs out very quickly. So it's all about managing it and using it when you want to, because you can save as much as you like and just use it in small bursts, or you can do what the likes of Yaha Matt. Now he's not going to use it for pretty much another 10 or 15 laps.
Oh, Flexi's off! Flexi is off! He's had a bit of a moment. So the battle that we were going to see between Johan and Flexi were short-lived, and that would have definitely thrown out a safety car or out aboard that.
Oh, and Tony up as well.
The one in the McLaren, I presume. Yes, yep. It's the one in the McLaren. Not doing so well.
And now Jinx off. My goodness, they're all going off the roads, and well, this is because I believe most of them using medium or no traction control. Which is probably why we're seeing instant drama here, because they're all struggling on traction. As you can see, almost free abreast in the brakes there between Jinx, Kev, and Cam. As the trio carries on the merry way. And saying that, the trio gets all penalties at the same time, as 3 of them got penalties in the space of 1 second. As here we go then, as you can see Aiden dropping back behind Casper. Casper on the move so far. As we see down the straight, you can see those burning and those not burning the area. Then, as you can see, Cam, is he going to go left or is he going to go right? He's going to go into the rear. He's going to go long way around the outside. That needs to turn 1. And let's see if he can get it around the outside. The answer is yes, he does. We'll give the squeeze on the exit. And that is potentially job done. As long as he keeps it on the road, which he does. Unfortunately for him, it's not going to matter though, because on the exit, but the help of VRS, let's see, back around the outside. cam on Jinx now, and he's going to get 2 as here we go, right around the outside, up the inside, give him a bit of a squeeze on the exit, but give him enough room just to say don't try it. Now you've got the job done, and you can hold that line. You're absolutely fine right there. So nice little battling for these drivers, as long as they keep it on the island, which is pretty big. Talking of that, do you know what I said that, and someone spun exactly when I said that, and that is Mr. Deck, and he's joined his teammate Tony, who has almost just dropped it as well. And the McLaren pair, just like real life, have no confidence in their...
Yes, they do not have confidence at all, and I think they've got a lot of words to it. And yes, I've driven medium traction control on this game because I did a race last week where I was forced to run medium traction, and it take a lot longer to get used to. Now I'm using full traction because obviously when I do start, it's absolutely awful. Meanwhile, Casper had got past Aiden after P4. We got P versus Iceman going for a ding-dong bow. Now Flexi and Aiden, there's battles going on all over the show at the moment. Tony trying to see if he could get past these guys into turn 4, but he stays behind right now, but he could get into turn 5 and 6. Vinks waits for a little bit longer as they head towards turn number 7. I'm not really that surprising to see track limit penalties left, right and centre. The one who wants to spoil the party is Iceman on those mediums. He's going to try and see if he can get past his speed compatriot of Knighton. He doesn't want to get involved in any trouble so far. And one driver who I think has been doing very well, good recovery drive, is Kerry, starting in the back of the grid. He's up to 14th position. And we got another battle. We got Casper and Flexi in the stadium section. We got another spinner. That is Kev.
You've done it now.
Yeah, I've commentator's cursed him. That's my first commentator's curse of the evening. Not very happy about that, but we'll see Flexi then. Has he got the deployment of his battery? He does. He's going to go for it. Left-hand side, DRS wide open. And he's going to almost run out as he gets onto turn number 1. But he keeps P4, he takes it from Gasper. He said, anything you could do, I could do better. And, well, it's not about where you start, it's where you finish. And Flexi is going to try and recover where he was, because he was leading this race. But it was unfortunate to see him spinning. Yarham is keeping things under control. 4.2 second gap between himself and Shadow in P2.
Yeah, it's so far so good. A lot of these drivers, by the way, have burnt almost half to, quarter of their ARS are all gone now. So some have got 50%, some have got less than 20. Some already blinking red lights, like Aiden has got the red blinking light then. So he's running very low on ERS, currently 11% of it. So, like I said just earlier on, we're only on that 9. These drivers already got almost all their ERS gone. So it is going to be almost key. It's a strategic game of when you want to burst your ERS and when you can, people get penalties. That was Kieran, and it looked like Flexi. He just picked one out of it. That was Matt who got one. There's another one. There's McKay's got one. Anyone else? Anyone else want to bite of the cherry? There we go. No one's going to bite of the cherry. So, all good so far then. So, 4 people with penalties. Iceman with fast lap of the race. And everything is going nice and dandy so far. Casper trying to get past Flexi so far as the 2 Mercedes drivers close up so far. But like I said, Johan leading this race 4.2 seconds as Kieran there getting past, getting overtaken, might I say, by the recovery. Matt up, as you can see, Flexi, and oh, look at these guys going at it, free abreast into the braking zone, the Red Bull, the Mercedes, the Aston Martin, and the Williams there trying to go at it here on the outside, as that there is Tony, and these guys 3-4, it's like Noah's Ark, 2x2, then this can't work, boys, side by side, down on the brakes, let's see, late braking for Flexi, covers them off, says, no, sir, you're not coming through that. They all stick positions, but these guys battling tooth and nail right now. That's just allowed Slenderman just to pull away a little bit more then. So far, bit of hyperdrive buzz. By the way, Shadow, currently in P2, is looking up the inside. Tony can't quite do it there. Is he going to try and make a little pop shot up the inside there? No, not going to do it right now. Has another car off. That is Jinx. He's dropped it around in the middle sector. So, a little bit of issue here and there, but here we go. Double up the cherry, and here we go again then, ladies and gentlemen. The ARS and the ARS will all be enabled. Let's see who's going to use what when.
Here comes Tony.
Yeah, Tony's going to come up right behind me now. They're all using ARS, and here is going to be Casper to try and go around the outside of Flexi. Then they braking yet again. Yuri with 3 second time penalty. The Red Bull line sweeping around the outside into turn number 1. gets the job done there. You can see the Aston Martin and the Williams come a cropper. Flexi goes off the road on the exit as well. And this is incredible, Jess.
I have to say, fair play, and obviously we do know that they can provide more wheel-to-wheel racing. I have to say, it's absolutely amazing. As Finley and Iceman, want to go for some action now. They want a piece of the pie as Iceman now up into P8. Hayden has got the move to turn number 7, I believe, as he's up into P6, and he's now definitely catching these two. Now, if Lexi and Casper keep fighting, well, you know, Hayden and Tony could join this once again, and this could be a 3-4 car fight. But I'm watching Hayden's deployment, and it's not very good at all. And as I found out on this game, well, ERS recharging to the battery, it doesn't take, well, it takes quite a while. So you've really got to manage it throughout the race. Only use it at the important bit. Don't use it around the corners. Because we had a spinner. That is Casper, last season's champion, has had a bit of a mare, Liam.
On the curb, gone on the power, rear end says no as they're going through. Iceman had to just take a falling accident. Another one goes off. That's Fraser, I believe, who's dropped it. Or that might be Cam, actually. Who's dropped it. It's yellow flags, penalties galore. And in all these, this is pre-season. This is very much showing us up the inside there. There's the other AlphaTauri. That is Knighton. This will be brave stuff. You get the job done. They hit each other. The two AlphaTauris hit each other, and that looked very familiar indeed. That reminded me of Silverstone there, as you saw Sonoda and Gasly come together. And yeah, they hit each other as well. One did spin, one didn't on this occasion. As they come together, is that Yarham? Yarham's off! He dropped it! The race leader! My goodness!
The race leader, who has been leading for quite a bit of this race, he was the one who had the less pressure out of everybody, and he's bottled it. He's absolutely bottled it. Now into P6. The newcomer, Liam, is in P1. Unbelievable scenes, but he's now got to get used to the pressure of holding that lead. Knighton is off.
No, Finley. My apologies, Finley.
It's Finley that is off, unfortunately.
Oh, and
now Matt Ryan is off. Everyone's decided to go into a spin.
There's a Red Bull up, Jerry.
Oh no, there's so many Red Bulls. And
Someone else is off.
Oh no, he's in the pits.
He's in the pits. I don't know if he's going. No, he definitely spun, Jess, because he dropped a lot more time than he would normally.
Tony going for the move. There's just so much going on around Mexico. It's unbelievable seasons. Tony is up to P3. We've seen Iceman do is, I think, one and only start a lap earlier than intended, but those hard tyres could get to the end. So expect the medium compounder tyre runner to pit in round about now. So Dark Shadow's got to keep his nerve and make sure that he keeps the gap steady as we're seeing more moves being made in the background as, Cam has retired in the pit lane. That's not going to be a good impression to the league admins, is it?
No, I think something went wrong there, Jess, because he tried to turn the pit, then the car suddenly just went straight on. He was trying to turn. I don't know if there was an issue or something. Casper and Aiden's dropped it as well. He's having issues. We've got issues going on everywhere. Hyper leads this race, but the gap now coming down to 1.2 seconds then. As you can see, the yellow flags. Are we going to see the Ferrari dive in their pit then? We will not. We won't see the Mercedes in. Let's see. Tony stays out. Flexi stays out for the time being. That gap closing all the time. More yellow flags. Like I said, that's Frazal who's dropped it as well. As you got Knight and Matter and all those guys going for it. As in comes Aiden into the pit lane to get rid of those tyres. In comes the Haas as well of Karen. Gets a nice early bath for him. So far, so good. We got the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers all in a little line. As there you can see, that is Cab, who is getting out of the way. He is AI pulling over to the side of the road. 1.2 seconds, Jess is meanwhile. There is Fraser, the other Alpine. He's dropped it again. And so easy to do, Jess, isn't it? We've seen, is it now, 12, 13 drivers have at least dropped it this afternoon with some form of issue. So it's going to be a tricky situation. Rear tyre grip is going to be key. As I say that, Knighton's dropped the rear end as well.
Yarham will catch up very soon, and we are starting to see the hard tyres being the faster tyre if you stayed out. As Slenderman has now brought the gap to 9/10 of a second, so he's in within DRS range. So if I was Hyper Dark Shadow, I would see Slenderman in my mirrors and be like, right, I need to pit now. I need to go onto a set of the hard tyres to get to the end. Is this Dark Shadow going to come in? Well, he's not going to come in then. Is he going to try and do a bold strategy? I've seen bold strategies in the past, and well, it is worked before.
Off, Jess, remember.
Damage is off, so we could see.
Won't get punctures.
We could see a meme of soft strategy, believe it or not. But I don't know what's going to happen. But the grit's going to be lost quite a bit as Pete is in the pits and he's going on to a set of the hard compound tyres. And don't forget, Liam, they have to do their own pit stops and they have to press a button when the game tells them to. It's around about 0.7 seconds and that or less, and that the game will put it as optimal. And if you do it after 0 seconds, then you pretty much toasted and you get late or too early or anything like that. But yeah.
Yoham on the soft, Jess. I've just learned. I don't know if you've picked this up as well.
Yeah, he's on the softs, yeah.
On the soft, like, he's going to have to stop again. These soft tyres, they'll only last about, what, 10, 11 laps. So that's what I believe potential, of course. Remember, we have tyre wear on, but remember, with the damage off, that means we will not get puncture territory, so they can stretch these tyres out a lot further than you realise if they've got enough grip in them, as long as they maintain momentum. As you can see there, the top 2-3 drivers will get it together. It's Slenderman then, the man who is hoping to get that P1 away then. Is he going to use his ERS? Now he is, and he's got a lot of it. He's not going to burn all of it right yet though. Kieran, a 3-second time penalty. He comes down towards turn 1. Not going to have a little dive so far, just sit back, relax and enjoy it. Get up close behind to see what he can do then. The Mercedes driver right pulling up the rear of the Ferrari then. A little bit twitchy there. You can see, I think that's Yuri, who's gone off at turn number 1, and that slightly caught Slenderman off guard. He lost the rear as well and loses a couple of tenths of a second as well. So back to square one for them. Tony, oh, Tony! Get out of his rear! Please, thank you. There we go. They almost hit each other. Slenderman almost was, well, you'd say Tony was in his rear, we'll say that much. Casper in P4 as he got his teammate there a lap down in P18. So far, these top 4 doing well. We still believe we've got Yam do one more stop this afternoon, Jeff. Anything could happen in this race, and very much it can, especially if you're in this midfield group.
It's like, which race also had a group that was battling at the midfield? The Austrian Grand Prix. In real life, it's kind of like a replica to what we've seen there. We got the likes of Deck, Kieran, Hayden, Iceman, Pete, all in that group. They've just pitted as well. We also got the likes of Jigs. We've got Tony that's got past Dark Shadow, because Dark Shadow has gone into the pits for a set of the hard tyres. It is a bit later than expected, but Tony is going for a similar strategy, going out long and hoping the guys who pitted early, their tyres will start to go. So, well, we'll have to wait and see for Tony, as he's got a 3-second time penalty due to multiple warnings. So, by the way, the only 2 drivers yet to pick up a penalty, well, we'll see 3 drivers to pick up a penalty, is Slenderman, Dark Shadow, and Iceman, and Yuri. Did Yuri pick up a penalty?
Yes. Oh, no, he has got a penalty. No, I thought he didn't.
It's Iceman, Dark Shadow, and Slenderman, the only drivers yet to pick up a penalty. But I'm almost certain all 3 of them might be on 2 warnings. But if they're on less than 2 warnings, then where are you? Because every time I go around this track, I tend to get penalties left, right, and centre around this track. We're starting to see.
Hayden, that's clumsy.
That's not good.
Dear.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear. Oh, it's all gone wrong here, Hayden. Well, the stewards might want to have a look at that one then.
Yeah,
because
pre-season.
Pre-season stewards needed. Let's get them warmed up there, Hayden. Little bit late on the brakes. Got a bit too much of the power there. He got a lot more earlier than the legs of Deck, and just kind of pushed Deck through the corner, and, well, 3 becomes 7. And, oh, the Haas is, or that's not a Haas, that's the Alpha Tauri of Knighton trying to go around the outside there of turn number 9. Can't quite do it, has to back up. It's brave stuff to go around the outside there. It's not going to do it into these 2 twitchy corners. Well, he will if he does that. So never mind.
Oh,
Slenderman gets a penalty.
Slenderman gets a penalty and takes the lead from Tony.
Yeah, and you're going to go switcheroo as here comes Tony burning his ERS as he's going to go back around the outside. And that was very easy stuff as well as leads to carrying on the merry way. They're going to try and stretch it to around about lap 23, 24 if they can for a set of soft tyres. That's what they're doing. Our Shadow's just going to be trying to Percy's on there as well. He's going to drop down the field. We've got Flexi on the hard. We've got Casper as well as we look down the rest of the order. As you can see, Kieran closing up onto the back of Mr. Tony. And Tony is about to going to be taken by the hassle, I believe, any second now to help with VRS on the exit. And he's going to go to the inside. A little bit of grass for good measure. But he'll get the job done. He'll pull back to the racing line. Give him enough room left because he's
again,
still there.
they touch. Oh, my goodness.
And inside.
Well, these guys are doing a little bit of touching right now, which is not ideal, but we got Casper on a set of the mediums. Did he stay on hard? I think he did. So he's going to try and get the mediums to the end, which is going to be hard, but we did see the likes of Dark Shadow and Tony. Well, Tony's stretching his mediums for 18 laps, and if Casper could do it, well, anyone can. And pretty much he's going to use Tony as a benchmark, as Pete has gone for a bit of a moment once again in the S's according to the track map. But let's jump for the battle for the lead as Slenderman on those more durable tyres. He's going to see if he can get past Tony into turn 4. He doesn't. He thinks better of it. We got Jinx in the pit. He doesn't want to do the hard to stop strategy. He's going to go on to the mediums most likely till the end. Yes, he does. He goes on to the mediums, and I thought they weren't going to get to the end, but they are. By the looks of things. I'm going to look at the database that someone's given me. See how long the mediums last. They're meant to last 20 laps, and how long have we've got more than 20 laps to go this Grand Prix, so we should be all good, all dandy with that one.
Less than 20.
Pardon?
You mean less than 20?
Oh my god, I made the same mistake as you did. But yeah, we've got less than 20 laps to go this Grand Prix. That's what I was meant to say.
Oh, Dick trying to go run. Kev, no, can't do it. Oh, Kev's gone too deep low. This is going to allow the opportunity. The old switcheroo then. Let's see, right to left. He's going to get up the inside. No, he can't. That's good placement there from Kev. That holds the line. Holds his position, and that's what you like to see. The McLaren can't quite do it. Yuri, meanwhile, plays the penalty. Who's got the most penalties? I'm going to question myself. Yuri. Yuri's got the most. 15 seconds, Yuri.
Well, Pete's not that far behind with 12 seconds. Then it's Matt, Ryan, Casper, Finley, Kieran. They're on 9. Now only 2 drivers have time penalties. I think I did see someone else pick up a time penalty. That might have been Tony at Slenderman, actually. It's Casper and Flexi having a bit of a switcheroo as Casper up to P6, but not a net P6 because Flexi has less time penalties. But he has hardly got any ERS to use, so he's going to force to be staying behind, and Casper's got DRS anyway, so that's the Constantino effect of these two. Red Bull versus Mercedes. When did we see that before? Last year, I remember, but we haven't seen that much of this in real life, apart from Spain, where we saw Max Verstappen and George Russell battle against each other, which was quite nice to see, to be honest. I hope we see more of that this season, because Mercedes, to be honest, are getting a lot better in terms of performance. Obviously, we saw George Russell's comeback drive as Iceman has now added to the penalty board, and now that makes it one driver who has got no penalties, which is Dark Shadow. There's no safety cars. Imagine if there was, though, as Kieran has overtaken Finley, as,
Iceman as well. Dropped it at Knighton as well. Good to see. 3 become 3 different spinners in the space of 1 second, which is nice. Jinx gets a penalty as well as... that's a big off, nearly. How on earth did Jinx not get taken out there? That was a hefty hit. Iceman, I'm not surprised. He is absolutely got no grip. He can't get the car straight, is the answer. What's going on for him? So he's struggling. Yuri, meanwhile, he's... I think he's actually just AIing, I think, or is he getting lapped? I think he's getting lapped, actually. Right there, but like I said, though, so far, everyone kind of doing a good job. This is kind of what pre-season's about to kind of feeling. Johan and Casper, Red Bull versus Ferrari. Then this, we've seen this before. Hyper Shadow got the penalty, and now there is none. I've not got a penalty, but Casper there, a man on the mission. Those mediums versus the hards, and the Ferrari gobbled up by the Red Bull.
Well, Casper's medium tyres will look good at the moment, but wait until the end where the hards will come to life. So watch out for Dark Shadow and Flexi later on in the race. But don't forget, Lee, we've still got 3 drivers yet to pit. That is Tony, Slenderman, and Matter. They will be on pretty much fresh tyres towards the end. I'm almost certain that these 3 will be trying to go for the soft compounder tyres. As no, Matt's not going to go for the soft compounder tyres because he comes in. He's going to go onto a set of mediums. Unless he surprises me and goes on the soft. No, he goes on the mediums. Okay. The softs only last 11 laps, so I think I would have said lap 25, I would say, is the lap to go on to the soft compound tyres if he choose to go on to the soft compound tyres. We'll watch the battle for the lead once again. It still remains unchanged. There are the class of their own compared to the rest of the field at the moment. Obviously, those two have yet to pit, but Johan Samar, after all those spins, he's your race leader. Well, your net race leader, but technically not because he's still yet to pit. Casper is leading because he doesn't have to pit. Dark Shadow doing more in a net P2. Flexi in P3. Excluding the penalties, because the penalties can change quite a bit. Det and Kev also into the pits then. They're going to be going on to a set of the medium compounded tyres. It's just lovely, Liam, to see a mixture of strategy. We saw that at the beginning of the race where only one person was on the soft tyre. You could start on whatever tyre you want to. It just opens it up, and you never know what tyre the driver's going to start on. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's always going to be quite interesting to see what they decide to do in the race. I mean, it's always going to be fun. As you can see, meanwhile, yellow flag.
That is Jinx, I believe. Yes, it was Jinx.
Yeah, it might be Jinx. There he was. So he's having a mistake. As I look to the back to the front. And you've got Slenderman and Tony still going. And then let's see, is Slenderman going to think of an opportunity down here? No, he's not. We've got that Yuri going off the road down at the back end of the circuit. The second Red Bull driver. And he's just having a torrid time. Like I said, he is planning just to get used to the game, get used to how it works and see what he can do. But so far, it's not going the way he wants it to go. Slenderman, meanwhile, he's very much going the way he wants it to go so far, as long as he can just keep the DRS and keep doing what he's doing. He's got to stretch another 2 and a bit laps, and then he can definitely go on those soft compound tyres. Those hard tyres are working an absolute treat for those guys. Then is not yellow flags, and I think that is Yuri just trying to get himself into the pit lane. Yes, he will, and hopefully he doesn't retire the car. I might be sad if he does. As Tony comes in, Slenderman will take the lead of this race. He's going to keep stretching it out a little longer then, and now it's hammer time, I suppose, in his famous words. Then let's see what he can do. He's going to stretch them for another lap. Let's see what is Tony going on for soft tyres. Yes, it is, so unsurprising right there. Down goes the Jax. Out he comes. He's run over his mechanic on the exit as well, for good measure. And let's see, where is he going to come out in comparison to the likes of Yarham? That's going to be quite crucial. Oh, is they're side by side, and there is Casper coming through, and he is a man who is now up into P2. Then Casper passing Yarham. Yarham going to have none of it though, trying around the outside. Quite the throttle, can't quite do it there on the exit, and now all of a sudden looking back, there is Tony. As off goes Yarham. Off he goes. I'll say Yarham's going to be under pressure. A reset for good measure, right in the middle of the road. Slenderman picks up a penalty. It's all gone wrong.
Yeah, it's gone wrong for quite a lot of drivers, to be honest. It's Slenderman still in P1, but the ones who've just pitted, Tony, is coming to P3. So, how are those softs going to work compared to the rest of the field then? And according to my calculations, the softs are around about 1.274 seconds slower than quicker than the hard, what the softs are. And the softs are 0.6 of a second quicker than the mediums, as Flexi gets a 3-second time penalty, as more penalties are being added to the penalty board, as Tony's got past Pete's AI car, as Matt Ryan goes in to the pit lane. Slenderman stays out. He's going to do the most bold strategy. Remember Alexander Albon in Australia, as we're seeing, I think, a battle for lapped cars, I believe, in the background. That might be Kevin Deck, actually, but I'm not entirely sure. But meanwhile, Yarham goes into the pit. So we did say Liam he was going to have to pit again. Well, he is pitting again. Is he going to another set of the softs? Well, he's got a set of softs left, I believe. So he goes in, and Flexi is catching up to Dark Shadow, but not quite close enough, unfortunately. Some of these guys will have to come across some lap traffic. Not that long to go until the end of this race. Slenderman still leads, but it will be Casper that inherits it once Slenderman pits, unless 20.5 seconds is the pit lane loss around here. So Slenderman could be again very close to the light to Casper, Tony, and Dark Shadow. This is going to be a very spicy end to this race, Liam.
Yeah, it was. I imagine he'll come in the pits in the next lap or two. He stays up for this one, so what he's doing is just getting himself the best opportunity, the best amount of tyres he can have then. But later on, he's going to be waiting to see if Tony and Casper start to do battle, which they will do, though I fear this might be a very predictable battle right there between these two. In fact, it might not be even a battle at all. Let's see if any of them are going to use the ARS. Let's see, Casper says he's not going to use it right yet. Let his comrade use all the ARS. Now switch in, use a bit of ARS, swap back behind. He hasn't got anything to measure that one so far then. So Tony up into P2, Casper into P3, at Dark Shadow in a very fine P4 so far. Very impressive drive as he's got Flexi right up his rear tailpipe right now. And Flexi, the man who was having issues earlier on as well as Matt, to be fair, having a nice recovery drive through the field. And we got a battle potentially between Kieran and Aiden coming in the next couple of moments as Aiden really closes up on the brakes, so you can definitely see he's got a little bit more comfortable on these brakes, and he might potentially have an opportunity down into the next braking zone, though I think Kieran has that one covered ever so slightly. So we're waiting for Slender Man in this lap around. Let's see as he comes through into the last corner and takes a bit more of his shallower line, but says, no, I'm going to stay out again. And lap 27 now he stays out. The more he stays out, more of a task he's going to have it later on to come back through the field. But if anyone can do it, Slender Man's always got the possibility. He's got the pace to do it. As up the road, you've got Kev and Deco battling in turn one. It is the Alf splits the McLaren, passing the Ferrari, and that is a job done between those two then. So back on the railway, Jason. This has been a very much a race of attrition. And I tell you what, even for us in the commentary box, it's a race of attrition. It's very warm upstairs in my room.
Well, it's not as warm as last night. It's actually quite decent in my room for a change. Last night it was absolutely awful. But anyway, lap 27 on 36. And still anything can happen in this motor race, apart from the fact there'll be no safety cars. Another spinner. It's a Red Bull. Is it Yuri? Yes, it is Yuri down in 17th position. Well, he's still in this race, so that is good. Great to see as well. And this is definitely a learning curve, to be honest. Thankfully, for most of these drivers, it's not the pre-season, it's not a regular season race. So when Mexico does come on the calendar, which for a lot of drivers they'll believe it's not on this season's calendar, well, they will have a lot more time to practice. Hayden and Kieran going side by side, heavy on the brakes. They head towards turn number 7 as Kieran holds the right-hand side line. Can he keep it calm and collected? He's going to as well. He had done a very good job last season. He was one of the drivers who improved quite a lot as well. As Kieran up into P7 then, but 14.5 seconds behind Matter. But I'm sure he'll be happy with P7 at the moment. Bear in mind, penalties could change things quite a lot. But even though I did do GCSE maths, I don't really want to guess where they are as well, because that will take ages. Luckily, we can just focus on the action and let the game calculate who will be placed. Whereas Flexi, he was going to try and get a move past Dark Shadow into turn number 1. As talking of penalties, Casper's got one, Kieran's got one, everyone's getting one. Oh, it's Flexi! It's spun into the wall, and that's given Dark Shadow an invitation to be in 4th position. And Flexi, I think, had his second spin, I believe. So, which is less than everybody else, but it's still a spin. And that is not good. But at least it's not happened in a regular season race, because that would have definitely been a damaged car.
Casper off as well, Jess. Casper's dropped the rear tyre, so he's dropped. Oh, it's a big drop as well. He's dropped it again. And now, well, there's Dark Shadow up into 3rd. So he is a man on a mission. He's just keeping the car cool and collective. As in comes Slender Man finally in this race, on for a set of soft compound tyres. He can go chase after Tony, but it's going to be what's... It's going to be around about, what, a 10-second gap, nearly, maybe more than that. So it's going to be a long afternoon. He's got 7 laps to try and pull the gap. He'll be ahead of Shadow by a little bit of a margin. It might be close, actually, but I think he should just be ahead.
Fine.
Yep, he should be ahead. Remember, like, he's got a little bit of running space. He's got to get these tyres up to temperature. So 9 seconds, 7 laps. Let's see what he's got then. He's got much fresher tyres by about 3 or 4 laps, maybe a bit more than that actually. Have a look what the tyre gap is between these two drivers. It is 5 laps different, and Now he's got to get these tyres up to temperature checks. This is going to be the crucial thing in this afternoon's race, is what he can do. Flex, he's pitted for another set of soft compound tyres, as that is Yuri off for the 862 time this afternoon. As you can see, meanwhile, Matt Ryan getting overtaken.
And Kieran going for the move. Sorry to cut you off into turn number 4. Prime overtaking move has Kieran get the car stop in time. He's trying to, at least. They make a little bit of contact. Let's hope this doesn't go for a spin, boys, as Hayden goes to the outside. Kieran to the left-hand side then into turn 7. This is going to be very tight between these two. Brilliant, incredible racing. Kevin Deck going for a move in the background. We've got a spinner, and it's not the two I'm going on board with, but they're trying to leave as much space as they can, but there's little margin for error in the S section as well. We saw a lot of people have a little bit of a spinny moment, but these two are not having a spinny moment at the moment. They head towards the staging section. We got Kieran to the right-hand side. Oh no, did he caught the car there? That was incredible. Good save from Kieran. He could get 2 cars into one. No, he doesn't get 2 cars into one, but Johan and Hayden get past the both of them. Hayden up into 6th position then, but has Johan and Kieran breathing down their necks as they head towards lap number 30. Johan barely any ERS, neither does Hayden. Kieran doesn't have any ERS either, so it's even Stevens. Could it be 3 abreast into turn number 1? We'll have to wait and see where it's going to be 2 cars into one, as we got Hayden up in, well, Johan up into P6 now. Hayden dropped down to 7. This will be an open invitation for Kieran to get Hayden back, maybe into turn number 4. This is a repeat from the last lap then, as we saw earlier on. Senderman's got a time penalty. Oh, they make a bit of contact. That was tight once again as they head towards turn number 7. All of them are harvesting, but Kieran is saving a little bit more ERS than everybody else, so this could be a huge advantage, I have to say. This is good battling from our midfield, Liam. Incredible.
Yeah, indeed it is. Slenderman's got that gap down now, just under 8 seconds. But remember, he's got 9-second time penalty, so I think he might just be consulting on that second position, to be fair as well. It's only a pre-season as well. You can push as much as you like. You can have as many issues as you like, but as long as you finish the race, that's the key thing. And that's what Yuri's doing. He might be a lap down on absolutely everyone, I'm pretty certain, but he's carrying on his merry way.
He's learning, as everyone is learning on the F122 game in terms of racing and commentary.
Yeah, Matter and Casper. Meanwhile, I'm going to switch positions as well. That's Casper now up into P4. Next target is Mr. Dark Shadow. He's not too far away, to be fair, still. He's only 1.7 seconds, despite that spin earlier on. He's coming back through the field. He's got incredible pace as the reigning world champion. And let's see what he can do then. His tyre situation, he's got 13 lap-old mediums versus 14 lap-old hards. So both of them very much going to be a different stage of their own race. But you can definitely see, look at the gap coming down under a second now. And you can definitely tell that Casper, he is the minister. He is the man on a mission. And well, it's already under 8 tenths of a second, under 7 tenths of a second. He might get him on the next straight if he's not careful. Yellow flags, and that is Yaham, is it again? Yes, it is. Yaham again. Unfortunately. And Jigs has to get out of the way. So, unfortunate. As up to these battle here again, you can see that gap closing a little bit. As behind, Matter also following him through. Kev's got a 3-second time penalty, but he sees the battle end for 3rd, 4th, and 5th position going on right now. Red Bull, Ferrari, Aston Martin there as well. Lovely line. Well, the British Racing Green. I think it's the full British Racing Green. It's very close. I don't think it is the full colour though of the British Racing Green. I think it's slightly lighter coloured green. If you ask me what my favourite colour green F1 car, it's the Jaguar. That is the 2003 version. Always stands out to me. But Casper, he is definitely closing, Jess, and we've only got a couple laps to go, but I reckon he's lining this up.
Well, to be honest, this has been a learning experience for all involved, but surely all these guys will want to improve for the next pre-season race as well. And don't forget the drivers who have signed up for this season, who are not here tonight, well, they will get priority to race next week, obviously, if they haven't raced with us before. And if they don't race next week and they haven't raced with us before, then it'll be hard to place them in a tier, so they may not be placed at all. So, Matter right on the back of Casper and Dark Shadow, but he's just holding his nerve, holding his cool, because he's thinking, you know what, if you two make a mistake, I could breeze past you two. He's playing a little bit of a nice back seat between these drivers, but meanwhile Casper, he's going to go for it. He was going to think about it a little bit later than usual as they head towards turn number 1, and Matter may have a slice in this pie right now as they head towards turn number 3, as Matter will have a slice of the pie then as he goes towards turn number 4, side by side DRS zone to a T. And does he get past Dark Shadow? Yes, he does. Matter up into 4th place. He is your season 7 champion and handing over the VSL crown to Casper. So we've got 2 VSL champions, Linus Stern right now, obviously the reigning champion, in 3rd at the moment. I will check time penalties actually. Jesus Christ, Casper. We thought Yuri's got penalties. Casper's got a lot. Casper's got to be careful before he gets disqualified.
I mean, well, Flexi and Kieran going at it, and that is Kieran. Very odd strategy then to come into the pits for a set of soft tyres. He just wants to have some fun. We've got Aiden, who's off the road, and he's retired the car as well. So he is had enough of his Aston Martin for the time being. So there is now 4 DNFs in this race. Yuri has picked up a 3-second time penalty, putting up to 18 seconds so far, but he is the man carrying on this race, and he is absolutely the super trooper right now. It's also a very good song, if you don't know by ABBA. So there we go. And
I love ABBA.
Yes, we do. Everyone likes ABBA. But Slender Man, he is very much in 2nd position. Matter in 3rd, Hyper in 4th, and will potentially finish in 4th position as long as Matter doesn't get a penalty. So this is looking a bit better for Matter so far, isn't it? He had a bit of issue earlier on, dropped himself all the way to the back of the grid by about 10-11 seconds. Without that mistake, where could he have been in this race? That's all to be seen, but your former champion, hoping potentially for a newcomer form, but Tony the Man so far is the man of this afternoon, currently in this race. Slenderman has got that gap down to 6.2, but it's not coming down quick enough. He should have stopped a little bit earlier on, potentially. We've got Matter, Hyper, who's done a fantastic job so far. Then comes Casper, yellow flags for Yuri, who's dropped it again, it looks like, but Casper then Frexley, then comes Kieran, Jigs ahead of Yarham, who's caught right back up again as he's done to the 62nd stop of his afternoon. Finley and Tim, Tony ahead of Deckley, 2 McLarens, just like last season. Yes, still together again.
Well, to be honest, it's different McLarens at the end of the day. Meanwhile, Jigs has just got past Kieran. I have to say, Jigs was in the back at the start of this race, and a proof of not giving up. He's had a battle with Kieran and Yarham as they head towards turn number 1. And he's in 7th position. And don't forget, top 12 score points in the regular VSL season. How many penalties does Jigs got? He's got 9. So Yarham will jump Jigs, but Jigs will be in 8th position, which is not so... Actually, he'll be in 7 because of Casper's penalties, actually. Because Casper's got quite a lot of penalties. But with everyone getting penalties, to be honest, if you've got 3 seconds, you should be alright. If you've got more than 3 seconds, you're in a lot of trouble. But the leaders are starting the final laps of this race. Gap between Slenderman and Tony has come down to 5 seconds. It doesn't mean much at the moment, but surely Tony wants a bit of pride. Don't forget, Tony did not set a valid lap in this qualifying session. He started from the back of the grid and he wanted to do a last to first challenge. Let's see if he can deliver the goods, because he's got to finish his lap in order to do so. We've got some battles happening in the background between, I think it was Matter and Slenderman. As Matters, I think, dropped it a little bit there. So, or it might have been Darkshire, I'm not entirely sure, but they weren't as close as they were before. Meanwhile, we got Yarham versus Jigs versus Kieran. Who's gonna blink first? Yarham to the left, turn number 1, using all their deployment battery, even though it's run out already. But who cares? As Jigs trying to go up the inside of Kieran, but to no avail, unfortunately, as Yarham trying to put off a recovery of dreams at the moment. But we'll see Kieran right in the middle of this. He's in a little bit of a sandwich right now. This is getting quite intense, isn't it? Dark Shadow getting a penalty now. 6 seconds, but that won't really matter due to Casper's time penalties. But Tony up to the line. He's done the last to first challenge, Liam.
Here he has. Meanwhile, look at the Ferrari of Kev trying to go around the inside of the McLaren. Well, this is all kicking off. Here we got battles all over the circuit here. The last opportunity to make an overtake then in this race. Let's see, it's Kieran going to send it then. Let's see left to right. Which way is he going to go? He's going to go to the outside then. Late braking all the way around the outside. He's off the road then. He keeps it on the road. He's off it. He's on it. He's gone through then. It's not going to matter. He has the penalty. Back down to a good little attempt there. He's got the position back then. Casper goes into 6th. Kieran across the line in 7th. Will not finish that.
Oh!
As he crosses the line sideways. Jinx, Finley. Then we got Deck, Tony and Kev all together there. Those guys have all separated finally. Now again then. And then we've got the last guys. Aiden, by the way. I don't want to feel bad for Yuri here. But Aiden, who did after about 3-4 laps ago, is finished ahead of Yuri, so I'm going to give Yuri a huggle later on.
Definitely. Kevin.
10-second call. Oh, Tony.
What has Tony done?
He's dropped at the last corner, and he's going to get the car back going just about, but he's gone off. He gets the line then, and he'll be the last driver to finish this afternoon, as there he goes into the wall. And that is that one done.
First pre-season race done, and I'm sure if people want to get into Tier 1, well, for some drivers, that is definitely a Tier 1 worthy performance, or I'm almost certain that Tony in the Williams will definitely be in Tier 1 this season. And I have to say, Hyper Dark Shadow, I think one of those drivers will probably potentially will definitely be joining them. Out of all the rookies, he's definitely been the man who's impressed quite a lot and could challenge the big guns earlier on, and that's great to see. We saw with the likes of Timo the last few seasons challenge the old guns. Well, we could see Hyper Dark Shadow do exactly the same. So very impressed to see a newbie do well.
Yeah, indeed it is. And well, luckily you can't see what I can see on my screen because they got the lighting glitch again. So everything's gone very dark and very spooky. But it is the Williams. Oh my god. Wow, this is terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
Well, mine is fine.
Yours is fine, mine is not. This is probably why I'm not streaming. Because
well, good luck with the other leagues when you're streaming. Just saying.
No, intriguing stuff. But top three, well, the same 3 engine manufacturers. The Williams on the top 7 of the podium. Then from Slenderman in the Mercedes, Matta in 3rd, Hyper in 4th. A brilliant job there for the Finnish driver, who lines up and finishes ahead of Flexi. Casper, your reigning champion, down in 6th, ahead of Johan in 7th. Jinx in 8th, ahead of Karen in 9th. Finley rounding out the top 10. Acorn in 11th, and Deckwood got the last point of this afternoon. Kev in 13th from Ryan. Then comes Knight and Aiden. Then comes Yuri, Iceman, McKay, and Cam, rounding the last 3 slots there this afternoon, Jess. But what has been an enthralling action will come to an end then of the first pre-season.
Yes, indeed, and to be honest, I really enjoyed myself. This was both of our first commentaries on PlayStation. I did my first commentary on PC a few weeks ago, but I haven't done it on PlayStation on this new game. And thank goodness we had the pre-season race to warm ourselves up for not just VSL, but for other leagues as well. But well, obviously apart from Dark Shadow and obviously Tony, who did an incredible performance. Any other drivers that stood out for you tonight?
Well, they all kind of stood out very much. I mean, like I said, you've seen your ups and downs. I'm gonna hold my opinion then until we get in the next couple of seasons, the next races, of course. But Shadow's definitely a shout out for a very decent drive this afternoon, Jess. But I'll let you finish it off.
Yes, indeed, and we're going to see 20 more drivers then take to the streets. Well, not really streets, is it? It's the Circuit to Barcelona, Catalonia in Spain next week for the second and final pre-season race of F1 22, and people's last chances to prove to the admins why they deserve to be in Tier 1. I'm almost certainly will be in the commentary box. I don't know who will be alongside me right now, whether it will be Liam or more. It does depend on whether he's available, of course, but obviously more information will be out in due course. But check out our Patreon page where we've got loads of things going on as well. I don't have the graphic for that because I forgot to download that, but anyway, make sure you check our Patreon. We don't have any other sponsors, unfortunately, I believe, so we can't mention that this season. But for myself and Liam, we will see you next week, 8 p.m, for some more F122 action around the circuit of Barcelona, Catalonia. We hope you enjoy the race. We will see you soon, but until then, good night.